Hi guys, welcome to Vesna TV. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I am making 4 Dollar Tree Christmas DIYs. So let's get going. So this first DIY is super easy to make and it turns out absolutely gorgeous. So I am using a black canvas because I love the modern black and white Christmas decor look. And I grabbed mine from the Dollar Tree. As usual, most of my stuff is from the Dollar Tree. And so you will, like I said, you will need the black canvas, some Christmas greenery. You can either cut from a tree, which again you can get at the Dollar Tree, or you can get these little individual branches as well in a pack. So mine were the individual branches. A small piece of burlap, some Mod Podge, baking soda, and hot glue. So you prepare the canvas by unpacking it. Then you're going to shape your tree. So you're going to take your greenery, you're going to cut the branches to the to a size that you can like. I did some longer and some shorter. And then you arrange them in the shape of a mini Christmas tree. So once you have your shape down, then you can start hot gluing. And you're just going to hot glue the branches onto the canvas in the shape that you created. That's why I created it before, so that way I can see what it looks like before I actually glue it down. And then you're going to add the trunk, which is just a small piece of burlap and hot glue, which are bottomed, which are glued to the bottom of the tree. So I actually wound up doing a few pieces of the burlap because I wanted it to look a little bit thicker and a little bit bigger on as the base. So again, you're going to just take all of this and you're going to hot glue it to the canvas. And once that is hot glued, then you're going to create a snow effect. So you're going to do this by brushing some Mod Podge over the branches and around the burlap, kind of at the bottom. And while it's still wet, you're going to sprinkle baking soda on top of it. Then you're going to kind of shake the canvas off so you get the excess off, and you're just left with a perfect snowy textured look. I absolutely love how this turned out. And that's it. So when it dries, you'll have a beautiful snowy Christmas tree canvas that looks high-end but costs just a few dollars. So let me know what you think of this one. So this next DIY does not require a lot of supplies. It's a little more involved and a bit more time consuming, but it's very doable. And the end result is totally worth it. So what you'll need is a balloon, and try to choose a color that matches your twine or jute rope, which I didn't do. Twine or jute rope or a thin craft string, Mod Podge, hot glue, and optional is a small birch stump or a wood slice for the topper. So to prep your balloon, you're going to blow up your balloon to the size you want your ornament to be. Now make sure it's firm. If it's too soft, the shape won't hold as well. So you're going to match, like I said, match the balloon color to your twine so any spots that peek through won't stand out if you don't get the entire balloon off. You're going to apply the Mod Podge all over the surface of the balloon, and it'll help the string stick as you wrap it. You're going to then start wrapping your twine around the balloon, going into different directions to get an even crisscross pattern. Keep the tension tight. If the string is too loose, the ornament won't hold its shape. But if the string keeps slipping, then tie your string ends together to anchor it before you continue. And then once you get all of that done, you're going to seal it with Mod Podge. So once the balloon is covered the way that you like it, you're going to brush a generous coat of Mod Podge over all the wrapped twine. And you're going to let this dry for about 24 hours so it becomes nice and firm. What I did is I clipped the top of the balloon to a like one of those paper clip things, and then I put it on a hook and I just let it air dry. And then once all of that is dry, like completely dry, you're going to pop that balloon. And I just used a pair of scissors to pop it. And then if needed, you can leave a slightly larger opening at the one end when you're applying that string. I forgot to mention this before, so that you can pull the balloon pieces out more easily. So if you're using the Mod Podge under the string, it can make the balloon removal a little bit trickier, but it still works. It just takes a bit more patience. And you can see that I kind of mangled my bulb as I was taking it out, but it's still, I was able to get it back into the shape that I wanted it to be. And then you're going to add the rustic topper. Now I used a small birch stump, but you can use a wood slice or anything that you would like on top of your twine globe, and this makes it look like a cute little Christmas ornament. And that's it. Let me know what you think. Here it is completed. I think it turned out really cute, and I love how rustic and cozy it looks. So let me know if you try this and whether you run into any issues with the balloon or the Mod Podge. Okay, so for this next one, what you're going to need is a cone form. Now you can do a store-bought one or you can make one from paper, but you just want to make sure it's like poster board. And then paper again if you're making your own, some saran wrap, jute rope or twine, some Mod Podge, and hot glue gun, and some embellishments, and baking soda. So you're going to create your own cone. If you're using paper, just cut out a rectangle, roll it into a cone shape, and then you're going to trim the bottom so that all the edges are even and the cone can stand on its own. You're going to secure the seam with hot glue or tape. I used hot glue. Then you're going to wrap the cone in saran wrap. Cover the entire cone, pushing excess wrap either into the top of the opening at the top and the bottom, and you're going to make sure the whole form is fully covered. This will help the jute rope release later. Then you're going to apply the Mod Podge over the saran wrapped cone, and then you're going to start at the top and wrap the jute rope all the way around the form until you cover the cone completely or as much as you want to cover it. And you're going to apply Mod Podge all over top of the rope when you're done. So you're going to make sure that you do a nice heavy coat, and you're going to let it dry for another 24 hours again. And so it becomes firm. And then you're going to, once it's dry, you're going to gently remove the cone and the saran wrap from the inside of your jute rope tree. You should now have a hollow cone shaped jute Christmas tree. And then you're going to decorate it. So I added a few mini Christmas bulbs at the top. I just did 3. I hot glued them together and then I hot glued them to the top. I hot glued some berries all around it. Again, whatever detail you want to put on. And then to finish it off, I do wind up dabbing some Mod Podge over the tree, and then I sprinkle baking soda over top and then kind of shake it off, and it just gives a really beautiful snowy effect. And so here it is all completed. I think it turned out really cute, and it's rustic and perfect for Christmas decor. Let me know what you think of this one. For this final DIY, you're going to need a couple of picture frames. I originally planned to use 4, which would have worked perfectly, but I could only find 2. I really need to reorganize my craft room, but 2 still worked out great though. So you'll need either 2 to 4 picture frames, a picture print. I used an old calendar page with a Christmas truck, but you could print something off or even use a gift bag, some hot glue, string lights, and scissors or a craft knife, and some embellishments. So you're going to choose your artwork. Like I said, you can print something off the internet, use scrapbook paper, or do what I did, cut out an old image from a previous year's calendar. So this little red truck was perfect. You're going to prep those frames. You're going to remove everything from the inside, bend or remove the little metal tabs if needed so the openings are clear. And then you're going to arrange and glue everything. You're going to position the frames around the artwork the way that you want them to sit, almost like a collage or a window pane. And once you like the layout, you're going to hot glue all around the edges, and you're going to make sure you hot glue the frames together as well. Maybe hot glue them first together and then on top of your image. And then you're going to use either like a craft knife or scissors to cut around the image so that way the excess paper comes off and it looks like, after you've trimmed everything and the frames are secure, it looks like the picture is perfectly framed inside each section. And then most of the picture frames have a small lip on the inside, which makes it great for spot for placing string lights. Here's where I made two mistakes. I didn't check if the lights worked first. They didn't. Oops. And I didn't glue the lights directly onto the inside of the frame, which would have made things a lot easier. So learn from me, test the lights, and glue them to the inner edges before gluing anything to your artwork. And so once I had mine situated, I hot glued the inside edges of the frame and then I hot glued the lights onto the inside edges of the frame and then glued the base battery pack to the back. Then I added some embellishments because the string lights went kind of over top of two spots on the picture frame. So, sorry, over one spot on the picture frame. So I just added some embellishments to cover that up. And it actually made the artwork even a little bit more unique. And that's all there is to it. Let me know what you think of this one. I think it turned out super cute, simple, rustic, and such a fun way to upcycle old frames. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if it inspired you to make something of your own. Have a great day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and hit that notification bell for more videos. Thank you.